Hey there, I'm Captain Howie, and I was born and raised here in Charleston, South Carolina. I've been boating all my life, from sitting on Dad's knee to working as a professional captain. One thing about Charleston is that there's history in every direction. You just gotta go look for it. And there's nothing I'd rather do than go out in the boat and see what's still out there to discover. So come along with me and my rotating cast of characters as we go off the beaten path to find lost history. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Thanks, and have a fantastic day.
If you're sailing into Charleston Harbor from the ocean, the first two islands you come to are Sullivan's Island on the north side and Morris Island on the south. People have been living on Sullivan's since the late 1600s. Morris, however, was never really developed. It's pretty much as nature intended, with no homes, no buildings, no nothing. In a place that's been settled since 1670, that's pretty unusual. Morris Island is approximately 4.5 miles long, but very narrow, less than 100 yards wide in places. The ocean goes up and over it fairly easily, and that probably explains the lack of development. I wouldn't build anything there either. What it is, though, is the undeniable nature jewel of Charleston. Eco-tours, shell hunters, and partiers frequent the island these days, many unaware of its incredible history. I spent countless hours on Morris as a young man, drinking beer, camping, partying. I know this because I've seen the pictures, and I'm in some of them. Tim, Alex, Alan, and Robert, you know what I'm talking about. One day I'll do a well-deserved video all about Morris Island. Today's video focuses on a lesser-known chapter of the Civil War, which likely only the history buffs know about. Join me and let me show off the story of the Swamp Angel. Sail in past Morris Island before you get to Fort Sumter and make a hard left, and you'll enter the protected yet shallow waters of the Sound. Continue on and you'll come to Bass Creek, which looks like any other medium-sized creek in the area, but this one has a remarkable secret. About a half-mile up that creek, you'll come to a tiny little island, a hummock of earth away from any other land. Blink, and you'll miss it. So don't blink, or you might miss it. I told you not to blink. This little speck of land is the site of the Swamp Angel. Imagine, it's summer 1863, and the Union forces control the southern end of Morris Island. The military has taken delivery of a massive 16,000-pound Parrott gun, a brute of a weapon, capable of firing a 150-pound shell over 4 miles. Think about that for a second. It's 1863 and over 4 miles, filled with an incendiary mix called Greek fire. These shells are designed to explode and splash a flammable substance in every direction to start fires. But where to put it? General Quincy Gilmore directs his underling, Colonel William Sorrell, to find a place to mount the enormous weapon, specifically within range of Charleston, to further pressure the Confederates into surrendering. Colonel Sorrell dispatches his engineering scouts, but a few days later, they come back with bad news. The ground is in no way solid enough to support the weight of the cannon. It can't be done. Undeterred and following orders, Sorrell says, requisition what you need and get it done. Work finally begins on the Marsh Battery. The soldiers refer to it as Sarrell's Folly and the Swamp Angel. The name sticks and will be forever associated with the location. Shortly after issuing his orders, Colonel Sorrell gets a requisition from a junior officer, asking for 20 men, 18 feet tall, for work in the marsh. That same lieutenant sent another request to the department surgeon, asking for him to stitch 3 men together to make the necessary 18-foot workers. Sorrell is not amused, and the young officer is soon replaced. By the time the Swamp Angel is finished, Union forces will have driven heavy wooden pilings into the earth. A platform of 123 large pine timbers are bolted into the pilings, and 13,000 sandbags weighing 800 tons are stacked on the platform to provide a protective wall. During the construction, Confederate sharpshooters are taking pot shots at the soldiers. On August 17, 1863, the giant cannon is floated through the creeks and somehow loaded onto the platform. A message is sent to the people of Charleston, stating that the battery will start firing on the city on August 22nd. Whether or not Charleston gets the message or chooses to ignore it is lost to history. Nevertheless, the shooting begins that evening. Okay, let's stop for a second here to point out some humorous limitations of artificial intelligence. It truly is amazing what it does right, but it's awfully funny what it does wrong. I fed him pics as a guide for the app to do its thing, and after a few tries, here's what it gave me. There are soldiers standing on the sandbag wall while the gun is firing. Hell no. The cannon has no back on it. How the hell is that supposed to work? It shoots what looks like a torpedo out of the barrel. Pretty sure that's not right. Then the cannon is pointing the wrong way. Defying physics, it has one wheel and stays upright. The torpedo comes out of the barrel and does an about face. Is it a guided missile or a shell? Colonel Sanders sits there enjoying his cigar, and all of a sudden a mansion appears out of nowhere and explodes. Jesus Christ. The burning house changes into a church. That's not what the FI asked for. Anyways, back to the video. The Swamp Angel erupts with a fireball, and after a few shots to adjust the trajectory, Union forces are firing shells over 5 miles away into southern Charleston. The first shots spark immediate panic and force the evacuation of residents living downtown. Imagine sitting on your mansion porch, perhaps enjoying a mint julep, when the screech of a projectile is heard overhead. Before you realize what's happening, your neighbor's house explodes and is engulfed in fire. It must have been terrifying. The Swamp Angel is successful as a psychological weapon. Most of Charleston, not having got the message, think it is playing dirty and a violation of the terms of warfare. Nonetheless, the Swamp Angel continues to blast away, causing damage and starting catastrophic fires. On the 35th shot, a crack appears in the breech of the weapon. Realizing the seriousness of this defect, the soldiers connect several lanyards end to end so they can stand behind the sandbag wall for protection. This turns out to be a good idea. On the 36th shot, the Swamp Angel's breech blows off, and the mighty cannon flies up in the air and lands on the sandbag wall. The soldiers are shaken up, but no one is severely injured. That 36th shot will be the Swamp Angel's last endeavor. After the final event, the Swamp Angel is abandoned and is not used again for the remainder of the war. However, to the victor goes the spoils, and at the end of the Civil War, the Swamp Angel is packed up and taken home to the North, where it is welded back together and put on display in a park in New Jersey. The saga of the Swamp Angel is bitter but short. It's a little crazy to think how many crabbers, fishermen, and nature lovers have probably slipped right by the island, not knowing what happened there. But it's well documented and all over the history books. You can take a ride out to see the Swamp Angel location in any decent boat, but be careful. It's shallow back there, and getting stuck is a real possibility. I'm going to urge you not to disturb archaeological sites like this. Tread lightly, my friends. I hope you've enjoyed the trip out to this historic site. I have lots more topics to cover, and hopefully we'll have a new episode every month, maybe sooner. Stay tuned for more Lost Charleston history. Please like and subscribe. Don't flame me too badly. Making videos is actually a lot harder than I thought. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.